Men who maintain strength past 65 live 46% longer than their weaker peers. That's not correlation, that's causation. Muscle mass after 60 isn't about aesthetics, it's about survival. Yet 89% of men in this age bracket are actively dismantling their physiology with habits they think are harmless. They're not. Every day you skip the protein target, you're choosing atrophy. Every training session built on outdated volume principles, you're accelerating decline. The men who outlive everyone else? They operate on 5 ironclad principles that most doctors never mention and most trainers get catastrophically wrong. I'm going to dismantle every assumption you have about training and recovery after 60. But you need to answer this first. Which of these 5 principles are you violating right now without knowing it? First, the brutal truth about muscle loss that nobody's telling you. The average man loses 1 to 2% of his muscle mass every year after 60. That's the stat your doctor quotes. That's what the research papers cite as normal age-related decline. It's not normal. It's common. There's a difference. Normal implies inevitable. Common just means most men are making the same mistakes. The 3% who maintain muscle comparable to men 2 decades younger aren't genetic outliers. They're operationally different. They refuse to accept the narrative that weakness comes with the territory. Sarcopenia, the clinical term for age-related muscle loss, is presented as a biological certainty. It's not. It's a consequence of 3 variables: decreased mechanical tension on the muscle, insufficient protein intake, and inadequate recovery protocols. All 3 are modifiable. All 3 are under your direct control. Why does this matter beyond vanity? 2 scenarios. First, you're carrying groceries from the car. 2 bags. You lose your balance on the curb. Whether you catch yourself or hit the pavement comes down to one thing: functional strength. Falls are the leading cause of injury death in men over 65. Muscle is armor. Second, your grandkid wants you to throw a football. Not watch. Throw. You either can or you can't. That capacity isn't luck. It's the result of maintaining contractile tissue and neural drive that most men surrendered years ago. The rarity factor? Only 12% of men over 65 meet the clinical definition of adequate muscle mass for metabolic health. The threshold isn't high, it's just that most men are so far below it they don't realize how much ground they've lost. Being in the top 12% doesn't require elite genetics. It requires refusing to coast. Testosterone drops with age. Everyone knows that. But training stimulus overrides hormonal decline for muscle retention. Men with low normal testosterone who lift heavy maintain more muscle than men with high testosterone who don't train. The signal matters more than the hormone. So what's the first non-negotiable that separates the 3% from everyone else? It's not what you think. It's not volume. It's not frequency. It's the one training variable most men over 60 completely misapply, and it costs them progress every single session. Most men over 60 train like they're 40. High volume, multiple exercises per muscle group, chasing the pump. That's the mistake. Your recovery capacity isn't what it was. Your central nervous system takes 72 to 96 hours to fully recover from heavy compound lifts. At 40, that number was 48 hours. You can't ignore that gap. If you program like it doesn't exist, you're accumulating fatigue faster than you're building strength. Volume doesn't build muscle. Mechanical tension does. Tension is the signal. Volume is just one way to deliver it, and it's the least efficient way after 60. When you do 20 sets for chest across 4 exercises, you're creating metabolic stress. That burns, that fatigues, but it doesn't trigger the mTOR pathway that signals muscle protein synthesis as effectively as heavy challenging sets in the 6 to 8 rep range. A study from McMaster University tracked men aged 65 to 75. Group 1 trained with 75 to 85% of their 1 rep max, twice per week. Group 2 did high rep work at 50 to 60% intensity, 4 times per week. Same total volume. Group 1 maintained muscle mass comparable to sedentary 45-year-olds. Group 2, they lost ground annually. Tension wins, volume fatigues. The old way: train each muscle group 3 to 4 times weekly, chase variety, accumulate sets until you're fried. The result? You're always recovering, never adapting. You're in a perpetual state of low-grade inflammation and incomplete repair. The strategist's way: hit each muscle group twice weekly with heavy, controlled tension. Squat, deadlift, press variations. Movements that deliver maximum motor unit recruitment with minimum joint stress. Then get out. Let your body do what it does best: adapt. Training isn't about showing up more. It's about signaling more effectively when you do show up. But tension only works if the raw material is there. Your body can't synthesize muscle from nothing. It needs building blocks. And this is where 80% of men over 60 unknowingly sabotage everything they're doing in the gym. The protein threshold you think you're hitting? You're not even close. The RDA for protein is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight. For a 180-pound man, that's 65 grams daily. That's starvation for someone trying to maintain muscle past 60. Your muscle has developed anabolic resistance. It's not as responsive to protein as it was 2 decades ago. The leucine threshold, the amount of this critical amino acid needed to trigger muscle protein synthesis, has increased by roughly 30%. You need more raw material to get the same response. Minimum effective dose after 60, 1.6 grams per kilogram. Optimal, 2.0 to 2.2 grams per kilogram. For that same 180-pound man, we're talking 163 to 180 grams daily, not 65. Most men aren't even hitting 100. They eat breakfast, toast, coffee, maybe some eggs. That's 15 grams. Lunch is a sandwich, another 20 grams. Dinner is where they load up, chicken breast, maybe 40 grams. Total for the day, 75 grams. They think they're doing fine. They're not. They're cannibalizing their own tissue to meet baseline metabolic demands. Protein synthesis isn't a trickle system. It's threshold dependent. You either hit the leucine target per meal, roughly 3 grams, or you don't trigger the pathway. Spreading 75 grams across 3 meals means you never cross the threshold. You're essentially fasting from a muscle building perspective. The fix isn't complicated. 4 meals, 40 to 50 grams per meal. Every meal hits the leucine threshold. Every meal signals growth or maintenance, not breakdown. Breakfast, 3 whole eggs, Greek yogurt, 35 grams. Mid-morning, protein shake with whey isolate, 40 grams. Lunch, 6 ounces of chicken or fish, 45 grams. Dinner, 8 ounces of lean beef or salmon, 50 girdle, 170 grams. You're in the zone. Timing matters too. Post-training window? Overrated for young guys. Critical for you. Your muscle is primed for uptake in the 2-hour window after training. Miss it and you've wasted the session's anabolic potential. But protein only builds muscle if your body is in a state to use it. And most men over 60 are bleeding progress every single night because of one overlooked variable. Sleep isn't just rest. It's when your body decides whether to build or break down. You can train perfectly, eat enough protein, but if your sleep is compromised, you're losing ground every night. Deep sleep declines 75% from age 25 to 65. That's not a gentle slope. It's a cliff. And most men don't realize how much it's costing them until the damage is done. Growth hormone pulses during slow wave sleep. 70% of your daily GH secretion happens in the first 3 hours after you fall asleep. If you're not reaching deep sleep, or if you're waking up multiple times, you're missing the window. Your body never gets the signal to repair and build. Sleep fragmentation is the silent killer. You might be in bed for 8 hours, but if you're waking up 3 or 4 times, your sleep architecture is broken. REM gets chopped up. Deep sleep gets skipped entirely. You wake up feeling like you slept, but your cortisol to testosterone ratio tells a different story. It's flip negative. You're catabolic. Muscle protein synthesis peaks during sleep, but only if amino acids are available. This is why casein before bed isn't optional. It's a slow-release protein that keeps your bloodstream supplied with building blocks for 7 to 8 hours. Without it, your body raids muscle tissue to meet metabolic demands overnight. Temperature matters. Your room needs to be 65 to 68 degrees. Anything warmer disrupts sleep cycles. Blackout curtains aren't a luxury. They're a requirement. Light pollution, even from a digital clock, suppresses melatonin and delays sleep onset. Men who average less than 6 hours of sleep have testosterone levels 10 to 15% lower than men getting 8. That's the hormonal equivalent of aging a decade. You're giving away strength, recovery capacity, and metabolic function because you're not treating sleep like the non-negotiable it is. Magnesium glycinate, 400 milligrams before bed. It supports GABA production, calms the nervous system, and improves sleep quality without the grogginess of prescription sleep aids. Sleep sets the foundation. But even with perfect sleep, if your training frequency doesn't account for how your body recovers now, you're going to break down faster than you build up. This next pillar is where most men get it wrong, and it's the one that separates those who last from those who burn out. Your central nervous system is the bottleneck, not your muscles. At 40, you could train hard 4 or 5 days a week and recover fine. At 65, that same frequency will bury you. Neural fatigue accumulates faster than muscular fatigue. Your CNS needs 72 to 96 hours to fully recover from heavy compound movements. If you're training the same muscle groups every 48 hours, you're digging a hole you can't climb out of. This is why body part splits fail after 60. Monday chest, Tuesday back, Wednesday legs. It sounds smart, but you're taxing your nervous system daily without giving it time to reset. You end up chronically fatigued, joints ache, performance stalls. You think you need more volume, you need less frequency. Full body training 2 to 3 times per week beats everything else. Squat, deadlift, press variations, high-impact movements that recruit maximum motor units with minimum wasted effort. You're in, you signal growth, you're out, then you recover. Exercise selection matters more now than it ever did. Isolation work has diminishing returns. Bicep curls won't move the needle. A heavy barbell row will. Leg extensions are noise. A back squat is signal. Focus on movements that give you the most return per unit of energy spent. Deload weeks aren't optional. Every 4th week, cut volume by 40%. Same intensity, fewer sets. Your body needs the break to consolidate gains and repair accumulated microdamage. Skip the deload and you'll spend the next 3 months spinning your wheels, wondering why strength isn't climbing. Most men treat training like more is better. It's not. Better is better. Precision beats volume every time. But there's one more pillar. The invisible one. The one most men don't feel until it's stolen years from them. Chronic low-grade inflammation accelerates muscle loss, impairs recovery, shortens lifespan. It's measurable, it's modifiable. Men who maintain strength past 65 live 46% longer. Now you understand the mechanism. It's not 5 random tips. It's a closed-loop system. Heavy tension over high volume. Protein at 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram because your muscle demands more now, not less. Sleep protocols that protect growth hormone pulses. Break one link, the chain fails. Ignore sleep, your protein goes to waste. Skimp on protein, your training stimulus dies. Most men will nod, close this video, and change nothing. They'll keep doing what's comfortable until their body forces the conversation. You're different. You don't wait for forced conversations. The outliers aren't genetically gifted. They're operationally disciplined. They know muscle after 60 isn't cosmetic, it's currency. Independence, capability, time. This channel doesn't do motivation, it does blueprints, no filler, no theories, just the framework that works when everything else is stripped away. Next video covers the exact training template, how to structure your week, which movements matter, what to cut. Same system, tactical execution. Be capable, be rare, don't apologize for either.